I'm sure we've all heard of like, we talked about this a little bit where it's like, oh, I heard that the farmers markets are being exposed, that people are just bringing in from big distributors and selling it as if they're like a small.
Yeah.
How do you find, like, you just charge up to that thing, be like, where's this come from? Tell me about your practices, or like, how would you recommend somebody figuring that and navigating that? It just feels like deception at every turn.
There's definitely people that are like being dishonest and playing the system, and especially with farmers market. I think a lot of people that go to farmers markets, they're just looking for like kind of like an artisanal option. They're not even necessarily saying like, I want to work with this farmer.
Sure.
They're just saying like, hey, I like higher quality products, so I think I can get that at the market. And when you go to the market, you can get goat cheese and goat soap and like
novel
kind of these
things.
Artisanal type of charcuteries type of products, and so you kind of associate that together. There's a lot of videos online where people actually go to farmers markets and kind of like ask questions and kind of like do a tutorial of like, hey, if you've never been to a farmer's market or you don't trust the farmer's market, here's a bunch of questions to ask. The big thing, especially when you're talking produce or animals, the first thing is, what is it packaged in? If people are reusing packaging or they're unloading boxes that say Dole, like there's clearly not from their farm, I don't reuse partially I can't legally reuse. I can't even reuse egg cartons legally. Now, if you go on Craigslist and you find somebody in your area that's selling eggs out of their backyard, they're reusing something from Fry's or Safeway or whatever, which is actually against the law. Not that I'm for more, government oversight as far as, into the family farms and stuff. But, it is like, it's hard too, because we have to follow we have all of our licensing, we have, all of that in place. So we are accountable, and we have to, be able to recoup that cost when we say, okay, well, our egg cartons are different. Because they're not branded. You didn't get them at Fry's, or everyone in your neighborhood just gives you all the extra egg cartons, right? And you fill them up and you sell them, the labels and all of those different things. So there is some differences, but again, what is their stuff? Is it in a generic plastic crate or tote that they're unloading from their vehicle? Okay, that's a good sign. They probably bought those totes on like Amazon or in bulk or Big Lots or whatever, and that's what they're using. They're not just unloading it from a loading dock into their vehicle, and it still says like I said, Dole or whatever other farms. So kind of like, what is their branding, or what does their packaging look like, and then just talk to people like, hey, where's your farm? Where'd this come from? Because some and this is kind of a gray area too, but some farmers market goers will have a few things of their own and then buy other things to bring with, and and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but you need to be transparent. You need to be honest about it. These things, I grew at home. These things, are in season, and I have, the ability to, get them, or, whatever. What does their setup look like, and and talking to them and just say, hey, what, like. And animals too. Like, a lot of people are surprised when we're chatting and they're like, "Oh, where do the animals come from?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "Where do they come from?" I'm like, "Dude, I fed the whole barn this morning before I came to the market." Like, what do you mean? Oh, you actually fed them? Like, yeah. Like, And to me, like, because that's what our day to day is. Like, it doesn't even cross my mind that I'd be like, just getting animals like from Smithfield and pork from Smithfield and then reselling it at, as my own. And then the other thing that a lot of people recommend, and I'm on the fence about this, but you can always ask to come check out their place. If someone is passionate about what they do, they're going to be open to you coming and seeing their operation. We live on our some farms, like people, they're like more of a a little bit more commercial than we are, and so they may live one place and have a farm somewhere else. We live on our property, so we don't like people to just come to the gate and honk and hey, let me show me around. But we do walkthroughs with homeschool families from church all the time, and anybody that wants to come by and see what we do, or see our place or whatever, like, you know, we ask that you know, call ahead or, you know, let us know at the market, hey, can we set up a time or whatever.
Sure.
But like, if you're, like if you're trying to hide something, or you don't even like, you live in a neighborhood and you've just got a, you know, a freezer unit somewhere that you, and that there is a big business. I actually, Canada has a huge problem with that right now, actually, where food distributors are literally like auctioning it off their loading docks on Fridays, and then people are loading up freezer trucks or cooler trucks and taking them to farmers markets on Sundays. Right. And they'll say, you know, oh, this name farm or whatever, and they own a little bit of property or have a farm name or whatever. Right. But it's not like, you know, the sticker literally says, you know, made in Mexico.
Revitalized Farms LLC.
Yeah, right.
But I'm just buying.
Right. You're buying in bulk. It's already boxed up, and you're just taking it to the grocery store or to the farmers market. And but really, I think it's relationship based. Like I think that's really. You want to start a relationship with somebody. I'm convinced a lot of people do business with us just because they like our family and like supporting local. Sure. And once we have a relationship, they're like, oh yeah, like I get it from whether it's, you know, the guy at church or the guy, you know, in town or the guy, whatever, you know, we people get to know us. They get to know our kid. Like we homeschool our kids. So our kids are with us every market, and, you know, the days where we're making deliveries, like our kids are with us. So, you know, they get to know us and our kids and kind of our lifestyle and where we go to church and those things. And they're like, okay, I want to create a relationship. And so then at that point there is trust.